Hi, Taurus. How have you been this past week? I'm gonna. Well, let's say this coming week, July 28th through August 3rd, Taurus. There is a lot of great stuff happening. First of all, if you have not yet done so, please click subscribe and subscribe to the channel, and click that bell because that's when you get the notifications of when I upload all of these videos like this, but also when I go live, and you can enjoy the live chats. So this is your week ahead reading from July 28th to July 3rd. Basically what you can expect to be coming in over this next week. I do ahead of time want to explain why this video is coming out on Tuesday. My ideal is always to get it out on Monday. I was away yesterday, so for the delay, I regret the delay, and I'm looking forward to seeing what's in the cards for you guys. I really am, Taurus. Let's see what's up. I'm just dividing the deck with all kinds of goodness. There will also be an extended reading. You'll see the link below. You can head on over to Vimeo if you want to buy it. It's $10. That'll go into more depth, but the message will be the same. It's just an expansion. So, Taurus. July 28th through August 3rd. Ah, yes, we have a full, no, we have a new moon on Wednesday, which at this point is tomorrow. And then the next day is a very important day. Not that new moons aren't important, but the next day is Mercury going direct. Now, it can still give us, like, sort of whip its tail as it leaves in its shadow period for the next couple of weeks. But that direct motion is very good news, because for all of Cancerian season, there were 5 planets, some more outer planets that affect us less dramatically, but there were 5 planets in retrograde, and we went through 2 eclipses, which means everything was intensified. This idea that retrogrades give us a chance to reconnect with what's happened, or things that we could have missed or had chosen to not want to see or try to hide from ourselves. All of those things, Taurus, were intensified by 2 during eclipse season in July. We had a solar eclipse and we had a lunar eclipse. This is the first moon phase in July. This is the second new moon in July, which I love. It's almost serendipitous. It's kind of like, okay, now after you've cleared everything out and made it through the rain, here's the time when the manifestation really kicks in. First card out, Antelope Spirit. There's something happening very quickly with speed and agility. It's coming up soon is what I'm saying. And this is either my Gemini card, or it has to do with family, because there's always this double helix in the DNA. So it just reminds me of DNA, so that you can have somebody young, a child, somebody in your life. There's a quick change coming up. They're moving forward, though. It's progress. See the big picture. This is a sort of a helpful hand of advice right now, Taurus. In other words, if you just looked forward, it might scare you. Not that anything bad's happening. That's not what I'm saying. But if you just looked forward, it might frighten you, because you've never been there before. This is someplace totally new. But if you look at the bigger picture and see how this is going to affect your life at large, that's where your focus has to be right now. Let Spirit be your guide. Everything is looking forward. So you're looking at the larger picture and you're moving forward. There's progress being made this week. I might think some travel or somebody's going somewhere, but also this is forward progress. So let me go over this. If you are looking for a job, if you have been applying to work, or this could reflect some sort of relationship, but I think this could reflect some sort of relationship, but honestly, I feel like this is bigger picture your life. This is not right now specifics to relationship. You are moving forward. You are making progress. There is something that you have been working on, wanting, or waiting for. You will see progress in it this week, and things will speed up relatively quickly. My advice for you is to look at the larger overview picture instead of, and because this is the Hawk Spirit. Hawk Spirit also has aerial view. You're going to want an aerial view of this perspective, because if you just stay in the thick of it, it's going to look too thick. It's going to look too scary. It's going to look actually a lot more complicated and confusing than it is. What you have to focus on this week is how it affects your life in the long run, and see that it's for the best for you. You might be accepting a job. You might be accepting a job that you don't necessarily love right now, but that's okay, because in the long term, it's going to lead you to the next step. You may be headed out somewhere. You may be moving away. You may be, whatever's changing right now has to do with your life at large. It doesn't have to do with just your next step. It has to do with, like, this is a big step. This is something like your wedding might be coming up, because this is the larger perspective of your life. So this is your wedding might be coming up. You might be moving away to another state for a job. You might be going off to school. I know 2 of my Tauruses are going off to school, like it's going away to college. This is a big life step for you. Something really life-changing is happening to you this week. It's something that you already know about. This isn't, in other words, this isn't a shock. Like I said, it could be going off to school. It could be your wedding is happening this week. It could be that you get engaged this week. It could be that you find out you're pregnant this week. Honestly, this is big picture, life-changing stuff, but it's not something, pregnancy, you may be having a baby this week. I don't really see pregnancy though. But that's the kind of thing I mean, in that this isn't going to shock you. You already know it's coming. You already know it's happening. Like you would know that you're getting married. This isn't an engagement. This is, your wedding could be coming up this week. You know, like I said with the college, you're not surprised that you're going away to college. You already know you're moving away to college, but this could be happening this week or coming soon. So this Taurus is telling me that in your life right now, huge changes are happening. Like lifelong term changes are happening that you already know about. These aren't shocks. These aren't tower moments. These are things that you've known for a while, but we're getting toward the finish line. Like it's right before you're leaving. And so I'm feeling that there's a lot of nerves going on. I'm feeling that there's a lot of hesitation going on. I'm feeling like there's a lot of not understanding what's coming next, because even though you know the change is coming, you don't know what to expect from it. Aerial view, larger picture. The expectations should meet the reality of, but this is what I have to go through to get to the next phase in my life. Or this is less about what happens to me when I get there than it is about what happens to me after, like how this affects my life in general. This could be actually the feeling of the feeling of, no, I think that taking the aerial view, the perspective, like the external perspective, in other words, to calm your nerves about what's coming, be objective. Like remove yourself a little bit from this situation so that you look at the larger picture, because there could be some complications or some disappointments that have come up with regards to the situation that you actually were excited about. Like say it's a wedding. Of course you were excited for your wedding, but now all of a sudden you're getting nervous. But not just about the details, not just about the details of the wedding, or maybe seeing things not working out right, things not going smoothly, but also Taurus, maybe about a little bit about, do I want to spend the rest of my life with this person? Be loyal to what you love. I see. So two different scenarios here, because this is a general reading. This comes up to quell your nerves, Taurus, essentially. Do you love what you do? Do you love this person? Do you love your job? For those of you who can absolutely say, bottom line, yes, absolutely, 100%. I absolutely love it. I absolutely love it. I want to do this for the rest of my life. Then that's what you focus on now. Because all the details and all the minutiae, and even if this is a relationship that's taking a big step forward this week, all the minutiae, all the self-doubt, will they love me? Am I good enough? You know, will the wedding go off without a hitch? What if the caterer doesn't show up on time? All of those details are actually really just distractions away from the fact that you love what you do, or you love this person more than anything. And so the focus is asking you to return to the fact of, how do you feel when you think about them, if it's a romantic relationship? How do you feel when you think about being their wife? How do you feel when you think about becoming a new parent? How do you feel when you think about moving on, moving out of your house, moving into your future? In other words, the subject matter that you're going to focus on. How do you feel when you feel about being a part of those? Those are the things that's going to help. Those are the thoughts that are going to help you get through this week of nerves and jitteriness. It's that time, like, this isn't bad nerves or jitteriness, I have to say, though. There's nothing negative happening here. It's just a big life step that you're naturally nervous for. This is like what I would equate to when I used to be waiting in the wings to go on stage. I love acting. I love it. But I'd be nervous. There'd be that little bit of nerves, those butterflies in my stomach. And right now, for some of you, it could be causing some anxiety. But that's because you're looking at too many of the details. And you're not looking at the overview of bringing you back to how much you really just enjoy this. How much you really do just love this. How excited you were before it was a week or two before you were about to do it. Also, I have to say, when this card arrives, good stuff is coming. You've made the right decision. Yes, you made the right decision. Because this is a situation or a person that is extremely loyal to you. It's extremely good to you. It's going to work out for you. Which is why it's asking you to see the larger picture instead of the details, to see the forest through the trees, to understand that it's not what you see right here, right now, but it's the larger scope of things. And to help you remember that. Remember how you felt when you were looking at it from afar, instead of what you feel when you're this close and about to step through the door. That's what's going to help you. That's what's going to help you quell your nerves. This is something, like, I know, like, some of you are going to say, like, well, we'll get into the relationship details a little bit later. Okay. So right now you're feeling a lot of anxiety. Bottom line, you're feeling like a moth being drawn to a flame. You're worried that maybe I got in over my head. That's where you are right now. Maybe I got in over my head. Maybe this isn't going to work out. Maybe I need to turn back. But I don't see that that's the truth. I see that that's your nerves. And I see that that's because of the fact that you could have had stuff that you had to deal with in the past. I know for a fact when I started doing these videos, Taurus was having a really shit show of a time. There was a lot of stress. There was a lot of pressure. there was a lot of confusion around this situation. Like in terms of if this is a pregnancy and you're about to give birth soon, this is just an example. It doesn't mean that you're going to get pregnant. You would already, in other words, at this point, you would already be pregnant. This isn't a surprise. You knew this was coming up. In other words, this isn't a new job coming in. This is a job you've already received, and now you're about to have to relocate for it. But you knew this was happening. But leading up to this, there was a lot of stress. There was a lot of pressure. There was a lot of doubt. This was a job that you needed, not just wanted. And maybe, just maybe, that's part of the issue, that if it's a work situation, you didn't fully, like, you got into the situation because you needed to work, because you've just been laid off or something like that. And now you're about to move out of your hometown or out of your location for it, or out of your apartment because of it. And because of that fact, there's nerves. There's nerves. It wasn't necessarily the happiest moment, or I shouldn't say that. Say this is a pregnancy, for example. It took you a while to get pregnant. It was very difficult to get pregnant. You went through a lot to get pregnant, or you had a pregnancy that required bed rest because there were complications. Not that anything is wrong with the child, but this would have been a situation that did not present itself to you as easy. And now you're coming up to the moment of it coming into fruition and it actually happening. And all the things that you had to go through are going to pay off. And you're scared. Yeah. But this is 100%. I've got 2 big picture cards and DNA. So this also could be about familiar situation. Something happening within your family. You know, for some of you, for most of you, this has to do with your life path. Dream the world into being. This is a recreation for you. This is like literally a recreation for you. For some of you, for a very niche group of you, this could have to do with a spouse or a child going through some serious issues, like with their health, with drug addiction, or something of that sort. There's somebody that you actually have the responsibility of nurturing and caring for, and then they're in a lot of trouble right now. So the stress is not over. And you're worried about their future. You're very, very concerned about the direction that they're heading in. And you want to lead them forward. And it's almost your job, part of your responsibility, to move forward with this person. But right now, something is not going well with them. Moth to a flame. I feel like if they're an older child, they're not behaving in a way that is conducive to their productivity. In other words, they're staying out too late, they're drinking too much, they're getting into trouble. There could have been some arrests, or you feel like there's some arrests on the horizon. You don't like the crew that they're hanging out with. This is an older child, 18 to 25. You don't like the crew that they're hanging out with. You love them unconditionally. But their behavior of late is not conducive to their well-being. And you're worried about it. If this is a spouse, something could have recently come up about them, about health issues that they're dealing with, or concerns that they're dealing with. Or you're concerned about their loyalty to you if this is a spouse. You're concerned about their loyalty to you. You might be concerned that somebody is tempting them away from you. But I can tell you right now, it's asking you to look at the bigger picture, because these are all fears that are coming up that are not, in the long run, in the long term, really going to, they're not going to be anything. That's what I'm saying. That's like, I'm trying to give you assurance that if your older teenager has been partying too much, if your spouse has been staying at the office late, it is not going to be the worst case scenario. Like, the reading is calling you to say, look at the bigger picture. Look at the larger scale. They're 18, they're 19, they're 20. They're going to party and they're going to go through this, but they're going to come out on the other side. And it's not that you should not be concerned, because I feel like there is a level of concern here, though I don't see, there is a potential for you honestly to suspect that somebody is cheating. And that would be one if you're with a fire sign. But I want to get more into that on the Vimeo. I'll go into detail, or we'll look really specifically into what may be happening in relationships, in romantic relationships in particular. So there's really, because this is a general reading, there's really two readings going on here. There's those of you who are you already know what's happening. This isn't a new thing, but you're at that transitional period between what you were before and what you're becoming. You know that this change is coming. Like I said, it would have been you're getting married this week, or at the end of this week, or on this weekend, or you're about to go into labor. You know that the child is going to be born. This is your last couple of weeks. Or you know that you're going to be moving. Of course, you already bought the house or rented the new apartment. Or you know that you're starting a new job. Like, in other words, this is something you already know is happening, but you're really, really nervous about it, because this is a big moment in your life. It's changing your, where you're going to be in the next couple of years. It could be changing your life, and you're very nervous and jittery about it. But the call is to look at the larger picture, to quell your nerves. Because for you guys, for you that are Taurus, for you Tauruses who are experiencing this moment in your life, there is goodness happening. There is goodness happening. You're just worried about it. You're scared. You almost feel like you're being walked. Literally, I could feel you feeling like you're being walked to the executioner's office. But you're not. It's the paranoia that's looking back. Really, you have a lot to look forward to. And by the full moon that's coming up in middle August, you'll see that. You'll understand it. Right now, on these last tail ends of Mercury retrograde, you are more inclined to look back and hold on and be scared. But that's all it is. And to deal with this is anxiety this week. Look at the bigger picture. Like, literally took that bird's eye view and understand not only the logistics, but also the fact that this is supposed to happen in your life. This is the next step. This is natural. And look at all the different things in your life that are helping you, that are not going to leave you alone. If this is with work, focus on the fact that it's paying you more money than you ever made. And this is actually a step up in terms of promotion. Or if you're about to get married, how much you really do love each other. And how before all this craziness and the actual wedding, things were okay, like things were good. Or things... I feel like there is some relationship tension. That's all I feel. Not for you guys that are getting married, though. Okay, we'll talk about that later, though. In specific, if you want to buy the extension. But not relationships. I feel like there is a question of loyalty happening now, especially if you're dealing with a fire sign. A question of loyalty or a question of security. And this is taking your attention off the larger picture. And it's making you worried. It's making you worried. If you're dealing with a fire sign, specifically Sagittarius, but could be Leo, could be Aries. There's something happening. There's a question on their loyalty. Or if you just met this person, if this is a new relationship, you're really not sure about them. And I have to say to you, I always say trust your intuition. Because if you're not sure, do you really need the relationship? Like, there aren't other people out there? If this is new, if this is a long-term relationship, Pig spirit, use your mind wisely. Yeah, there's something going on here. Especially for those of you right now, I'm telling you, especially for those of you, this is not the first reading. This is the second reading, like the second set of what might be going on. I can tell you right now, if you're dealing specifically with a Sagittarian, you need to reevaluate their loyalty to you, because it's like when pigs fly. When pigs fly, they're actually who you want them to be. And it's like you're like a moth to a flame. They're very attractive, but they're not trustworthy. Just letting you know that right now. For those of you who are dealing with that larger picture life situation right now, you're looking back, and that's your problem. Yeah, you're looking at, now you're in that reminiscent phase of, oh, if you're about to have a baby, for example. Like I said, this isn't an announcement of pregnancy for those of you who aren't or are looking to get pregnant. At this point, you'd already know that you were pregnant and you're going to have the baby soon. And now you're looking back on, I'm not sure this would be a first child. And you're like, I'm not sure I'm ready to like not be single. Like I don't know if I'm ready to handle it. Like you're looking back like on the way that your life is now, idealizing it more than you should. Because where you're headed is what you've wanted, and it's good stuff. So really, this is just the tail end of Mercury retrograde swinging and whipping you in your face. It's not that your life right now is so much better. It's that it's looking better because it's like the devil that you know. It's what you're used to. But honestly, there's forward progress here. Your future, the place that you belong is where you're headed. Absolutely. But for those of you dealing specifically with a Sagittarian, and this is a newer relationship that you've just gotten into, I'm telling you right now, you need to do a little looky in things that are going on, because the loyalty is in question. And it was like a moth to a flame. You just coming toward them, really, really, really being attracted to them, but their loyalty is in question. They were definitely looking at what you could do for them more than what they could do for you. So use your brain wisely, because you're not so thick and deep into this relationship that you can't just walk away right now and chalk it up to, oh, that happened then. FYI. Sweet results await. Time to collaborate. Claim your independence. Isn't that weird? How it says time to collaborate and claim your independence. For those of you who are moving on to your future endeavor, it has definitely to do with going away to school, going away to work, going away to a new job, going into starting to become a parent, going into a marriage, a relationship. That is going to work out wonderfully. All your nerves come Leo season, you're going to see, all your nerves are for no reason at all. It's just that you weren't necessarily prepared to make the change. It's going to be okay. For the second end of the story, for those of you dealing with, I'm seeing Sagittarius more than anything, could be any fire sign, you're going to want to move on from this situation. Because honestly, they're more in it for what you could do for them than for what they can do for you. Right? And for right now, and this is what I'm hearing, this is very important. It's not that this person is a bad person. It's that their focus is on another place right now. Something's going on in their bigger picture story. And they're just sort of needing you almost to help them as a resource because they need you in their life right now. So I would suggest, if you feel there's really potential with this person, stay just a bit removed and keep it as friendship right now. Keep your independence right now. Because really what they need from you is friendship right now. They're maybe entertaining the idea of a new relationship just because they know that you want it and they want to keep you around, but right now they are not in the position. Their mind is 100% on their work and what they're trying to become successful at, or working through old bullshit and getting back to their happiness. And if you got into a relationship with them right now, it would honestly be it wouldn't fulfill you completely. You have two cards here with wings looking in the same direction, which is, honestly, if you look at it, it's looking back. So it's telling you to review the situation. This is for the relationship. It's telling you to review the situation and really look at this collaboration with this person and see it for what it is. But for those of you who this is a big life event, this isn't about a relationship, your stress is coming from the fact that you're looking back. You're reminiscing on the way things are now compared to the way you think that they might be, or the fact that you don't know what your future holds. Look back in gratitude for what you have, what you've experienced, and what's coming to a close, because this future collaboration is because where you're headed to in the future is really bright and beautiful. It really is. You're going to have success. There are sweet results coming from where you're headed and the work that you're involved in. I feel more and more this is a sun sign. This is a sun sign that if you're in a relationship with. And honestly, this is what I'm hearing. There could be future success down the road with this person. But for right now, this is not the time to get all wound up in them. It's not, especially if you're dealing with a Sagittarian. But it also could be a Leo. I don't feel like this is a bad person. I feel like this is a person who's distracted with their own shit right now. And so if you really want there to be, if there's going to be success with you, it's going to be, and this is where it relates to the big picture, it's going to be later on. It's not going to be right now. So for you to jump in and commit yourself to a person, especially if you just got out of a bad relationship, it's not recommended. It's not recommended. Your time to be together is not right now. It's in the long term. It's in the future. At least 4 full moons from now. This could be 4 or 5 months out that the potential for the two of you to come together would be happening. Because they're chocked in the middle of their own you-know-what right now. And what they're reaching out to you for, so this is probably somebody you already know. Or, okay, if this is somebody you already know, and I feel like with Taurus, if this is a Leo, you already know them. But know that right now in their life right now, they are really not ready to get into a committed relationship. They are just not ready. It's not because you're not right. It's because they're in a place where they are working through a lot of you-know-what right now. And they'll just stay friends. That's what it says. Keep your independence. Stay friends. Because that's the best relationship for you right now. And I already knew you had some doubts. I can feel this. You already had some doubts. So there you go. There's the confirmation. Stay friends right now. It's the best because they're focused on their work. They're focused on rebuilding their lives. For those of you who just met, perhaps a Sagittarius, probably a Sagittarius, don't get involved. Like, say thank you next, because this person is really looking more for what you could do for them than what they could do for you. They're also focused on their career and what they're building, and they're not going to be focused on this relationship. They're on it, and honestly, they're not that into you. For those of you moving on to this next stage in your life, your nerves are coming from looking back and idolizing that time in your life that was so beautiful and lovely, when in fact, was it? Was it? It's just what you know, and that's why it looks better. That's all. Because what's in the future, what's coming, is actually success. It's actually what you want. And you're being called, and this is your card here. This is you. This is a giraffe. This is you. This is you in your reading right now, looking toward the future and understanding that this is where your destiny is. This is where your happiness is, where you're headed, not where you came from. If you would like to follow me over to Vimeo, where I'm going to go into a deeper read into specifically romantic relationships and anything else that I might want to clarify, there's a more detailed understanding of what's happening here. Let's hop on over there now. If not, thank you so much for watching, Taurus. I think there's a lot of beautiful stuff on the horizon. It's just, this is that transitional week of, well, being in transition. and there's a tendency toward right now idolizing what's in the past just because change is scary. Keep moving over that bridge, because that's where your destiny is. I'll talk to you next week.